Archangel Michael says, "It's an emergency. 3 minutes left. A person who is in heaven and who you love very much asks you to open this urgently. Please don't try to skip this. They are watching over you, praying that you don't scroll away. Their voice is carried by heaven's wind, whispering your name gently into the ear of God, and they want you to read every word with your heart open and your spirit soft. If your soul feels weary, if your eyes have cried in silence, if you've smiled while feeling like breaking inside, please stay. This message was sent through the veil for a reason. You are not here by accident. This is the moment heaven chose for you to hear something that can hold you together just when you feel like letting go. Type 1111 if you trust in God. There's someone in heaven who loved you more than words ever managed to say. Even now, they watch over you with a love that hasn't faded with time or space. They are with Jesus, and they are whole, happy, healed, and at peace. But still, their heart longs for you to feel the same comfort they found in Him. They've seen the battles you've faced in silence. They've watched how you stayed strong for others while breaking inside. They've cried every time you hid your pain behind a quiet smile. And now, through the voice of the Archangel, they are reaching out, not to bring sadness, but to remind you that heaven is real, and God is near. When you walk through your hardest days, feeling unseen, unheard, and misunderstood, know this: you are never alone. God is closer than the air you breathe, and His love for you is deeper than every ocean combined. Even in the silence, even when your prayers seem unanswered, He is working behind the scenes, gently weaving healing through your pain, hope through your heartbreak, and light through your darkest night. Faith isn't built in easy moments. Faith grows in the fire, in the silence, in the moments when nothing makes sense, yet you keep walking forward. And when you feel like your prayers bounce off the ceiling, when the world feels too heavy and your soul too tired, that's when God is wrapping His arms around you the tightest. Sometimes His loudest answer is in the peace that falls over you for no reason, or the strength that comes when you thought you had none left. There is healing in Jesus that no wound can resist, no matter how deep it goes. He knows the stories you haven't told anyone. He understands the grief you hide behind your laughter. He knows how it felt to be left behind, to be broken by people you trusted, to walk with a heart that loves deeply but breaks easily. And yet, He still loves you in your mess, not just in your strength. His love is not conditional. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove yourself. All you have to do is let Him in. Type Amen if you believe. This isn't just a reminder, it's a rescue. God sees how hard you've tried. He knows about the nights you spent crying into your pillow, hoping no one would hear. He knows the weight you've carried for people who never said thank you, the battles you've fought in silence, the times you encouraged everyone else while your own heart was falling apart. And still, He's proud of you. You haven't given up. You've stayed kind, even when life wasn't. You've kept your heart soft when the world tried to make it hard. And for that, heaven is applauding you. After decades in government lockdown, a short 9-word phrase has resurfaced, and those who whisper it daily are experiencing miracles of money and freedom. Researchers say it switches on a hidden abundance circuit in the brain, the same one billionaires unknowingly rely on. It's easy, fast, and astonishingly powerful. Click the link before this rare discovery is censored again. There is a place beyond this life, where pain does not exist, and sorrow is forgotten. That place is more real than the breath you're taking now. Your loved one is there. They are home. They see everything clearly now, and they know what truly matters. That's why they are desperate for you to slow down and feel this moment. Not just read it. Feel it. Let their love reach your heart. Let the Holy Spirit fill the cracks you've hidden so long. Let your tears fall. They are holy. They water the seeds of healing that God is planting in you right now. You are still here for a reason. God's hand has protected you through things you didn't even notice. You could have broken, but you didn't. You could have gone down paths that led you further away, but somehow grace pulled you back. That was not chance. That was not coincidence. That was God, always God, loving you louder than the noise around you, calling your name gently, again and again, through every storm, every loss, every disappointment. Type 222 if you believe your life has a purpose beyond this world. There's a soft echo in the heart of every person who has ever lost someone they love, a quiet ache that words cannot reach, a place where grief and love exist side by side. But beyond that ache, beyond the veil of our world, there is light. That's where they are. And from that light, your loved one is still loving you, still hoping for you, still speaking to you through moments of quiet comfort and peace you feel when you least expect it. Their hands may not hold you now, but their soul is closer than your next breath. They see everything now, not with human eyes, but with divine understanding. They know what hurt you. They know what you never said. They know the weight you carry every single day and the courage it takes just to get out of bed sometimes. And still, they are proud of you. They're not looking at your mistakes. They're looking at your strength, your kindness, your will to keep going, even when everything inside you whispers that it would be easier to stop. Life on earth is full of broken pieces. Pain, loss, fear, they try to bury your light. But the truth is, even in your darkest days, God has never left you. He was there when you fell, there when you didn't understand why things happened the way they did, there when your prayers turned into tears. He was silent, maybe, but never absent. His silence wasn't punishment, it was protection. He was holding the storm back, building a deeper strength in you, shaping something eternal that no fire of this world can burn away. The enemy wants you to believe you're alone, unloved, forgotten. But heaven knows your name. The angels rejoice when you stand in your truth, even trembling. The sky holds your victories like stars that refuse to be snuffed out. Your story is not over. It's still being written by the hand of a God who doesn't abandon what he starts. You are not too broken, not too late, not too far gone. You are held, deeply, by a love that chose you before time began. Type 555 if you believe God is still working in your life. Do you know what it means to be loved by Jesus? It means your failures don't define you. Your past doesn't disqualify you. Your scars don't scare him. In fact, those very wounds are where his grace shines brightest. When you're tired of pretending to be strong, you can rest in him. You can lay everything down, your fears, your guilt, your questions, and He will still call you His. That is love in its purest form, not earned, not bargained for, but given freely, like sunlight through an open window. And when you miss that person in heaven so deeply that it aches in your bones, when you find yourself replaying memories, holding on to their voice, wondering if they see you, know this, they do. And more than that, they want you to live. Not just exist, not just survive, but live fully, with joy and peace and trust in God. They want your life to be the proof that love never dies, and that even though death may separate bodies, it can never separate souls bound in Christ. They want you to forgive more quickly, to love more freely, to speak with kindness and listen with care. They want you to notice sunsets and smile at strangers and say thank you for the little things. Because now they understand what matters. And they're praying you understand it too, before your time here is done. They're praying you don't waste your days on fear and regret. They want you to trust Jesus more than your pain. A secret 9-word prayer, once classified under a forgotten program, is now reshaping lives across the globe. People are seeing unexpected deposits, financial breakthroughs, and emotional peace within days of using it. Scientists confirm it rewires the subconscious to attract prosperity naturally. It takes seconds, but the results can last a lifetime. Don't delay, click the link before it disappears. Every tear you've cried is seen. Every heartbreak you've survived is known. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every loss, it all matters to God. None of it has been overlooked. And while you may not understand why things unfolded the way they did, there is a reason. Not every answer will come while you're here. Some truths will only be revealed when you enter the gates of eternity and finally see what God was protecting you from, what He was preparing you for, and how every piece of pain served a purpose. Your faith is not small. Don't compare it to others. Don't measure it by how loud or how perfect it sounds. Faith is sometimes just breathing through the day when everything feels heavy. It's choosing to believe you're not abandoned, even when it feels like no one is listening. It's the whisper of hope in the middle of a storm. And God sees that whisper. He honors it. He builds on it. He turns it into something mighty, something unshakable. You are not who the world says you are. You are not defined by your mistakes or your fears. You are a child of God, born with purpose, covered in grace, destined for something eternal. And even when you feel unworthy, heaven still calls you worthy. Even when you fall short, God calls you His. This isn't about religion or perfection, it's about love. Love that never lets go. Love that waits for you. Love that runs to you the moment you turn toward it. Type 666 if you trust Jesus to carry you through this season. There is something beautiful happening that you may not even see yet. While the world seems heavy and your heart feels tired, God is gently working behind the curtain. He sees the quiet battles inside you, the ones you fight with a smile on your face so no one worries. He knows how hard it is to keep going some days, how much you've given when no one was watching, and how many times you felt like giving up but didn't. That strength, even when fragile, is not unnoticed. It is holy. It is sacred. And it is wrapped in His promise that you are never forgotten. The one you love in heaven, they remember everything. They remember your laugh, the way you showed up for them, the little things you said that made them feel safe and loved. And now, with eyes that see from eternity, they want you to know it wasn't in vain. Your love mattered. Your prayers mattered. Every little gesture, every whispered, "I love you," even the unspoken thoughts you've carried since they've been gone, none of it was wasted. Heaven carries every word like treasure. They are not gone. Not truly. Not in the way the world understands. Their body may rest, but their spirit is more alive than ever, rejoicing, dancing in the light of Jesus, and waiting patiently for the day when you'll be reunited, not in sadness, not in fear, but in celebration. That day will come, and it will be more beautiful than anything your heart can imagine. Until then, they want you to live fully, to stop merely surviving, and to remember that God did not leave you behind. He left you here with purpose. There are times you'll feel like everything is falling apart, like nothing is going according to plan. But God is not surprised by any of it. He isn't panicked. He isn't silent because he doesn't care. He's silent because he's working. He's rearranging the very fabric of your life to prepare something good, something that will make sense one day. And even in the waiting, he is holding you close. You are in his hands, and his hands never fail. Type 12:12 if you walk by faith, not by sight. Healing doesn't always come the way we expect. Sometimes, healing is not the fixing of what's broken, but the strength to rise anyway. Sometimes, it's not about forgetting the pain, but learning how to live with it while still choosing love and joy. That's what Jesus offers, not a life without sorrow, but a heart strong enough to carry it without becoming hard. That kind of heart is rare. That kind of strength is divine. You've walked through losses that could have shattered you, but you didn't let them steal your light. You've cried in silence and then gotten up to care for others like nothing was wrong. You've been the rock for so many, even while crumbling inside. And even though few may see that, God does. He sees the nights you couldn't sleep because your mind was too loud. He sees the days you pushed through anxiety, fear, sadness. And he blesses you for it. He pours grace over every unseen sacrifice. Your soul needs rest, not just physical, but spiritual. The kind of rest that doesn't come from a nap or a vacation. The kind that comes from handing everything over to God and letting go of the need to control it all. That's when peace comes. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've placed everything in the hands of the one who is. Jesus never asked you to carry the burden alone. In fact, he's been waiting for you to give it to him. Let your heart soften again. The world tries to make us bitter. People's words, losses, betrayals, they carve deep marks into us. But you weren't created to be cold. You were created to feel, to love, to forgive, and to hope. Yes, hope, even after everything. Hope isn't just wishful thinking. Hope is the anchor of heaven, the whisper that says, keep going, something good is still coming. And it is. Your loved one is safe. They are wrapped in God's glory, surrounded by warmth and love beyond what we can understand. They no longer feel pain. They no longer worry. But they remember you. And they are hoping that you allow yourself to heal, to stop blaming yourself, to stop wondering if you could have done more. You did everything you could. They know it. And now, they want you to forgive yourself and live free from guilt. It's okay to smile again. It's okay to feel joy. That doesn't mean you've forgotten them. It means you've decided to honor them by living a life they would be proud of, a life filled with kindness, with faith, with purpose. Every time you choose compassion over anger, patience over frustration, forgiveness over bitterness, you honor the God who created you and the one you miss who's cheering you on from heaven's gate. God is still writing your story. Don't close the book just because this chapter has been hard. Don't judge your future based on the pain of your past. Something new is being born in you through this season. Something sacred. Something eternal. And even if you can't see it yet, you will. One day, you'll look back and understand why it all had to happen this way. Type 1919 to receive miracles in your life through God's divine plan. God's love is not small. It is not fragile. It's not something you have to beg for or prove yourself worthy of. It was written into your life long before you were born. It's the same love that carried your loved one into heaven's light, and it's the same love that is carrying you now, even when you feel like everything around you is falling apart. You might not always feel it, especially when life grows cold and the nights are long, but love like his never stops. It is constant, eternal, and always just one whisper away. When you stood at the edge of loss and your heart broke into pieces, God was there. When you found yourself looking at old photos, hearing their voice in your mind, aching for one more hug, one more word, he was there too. Not watching from a distance, not silently judging your grief, but holding it with you. He understands the pain of separation. He knows what it means to cry over those we've lost. His own Son walked that path. That's why he stays close to the broken-hearted, why he doesn't rush your healing, and why he treasures every tear that falls. There is a special kind of strength in people like you, those who carry love for someone who isn't here, and still wake up each day trying to move forward. You don't give yourself enough credit. You think you're just getting by, but heaven sees something sacred in your perseverance. God knows the depth of what you've endured, and He's not waiting for you to pretend you're okay. He's walking with you, even when your steps are shaky, even when your smile is more for others than for yourself. There's something deeply holy about your journey, even with all its messiness and pain. Because you've kept going. You've kept believing, even when doubt felt louder than faith. You've held on, even when it felt like no one understood. And through it all, you've never really been alone. The angels have been around you, covering you, praying with you. Your loved one has whispered through dreams, memories, sudden peace, and unexplainable comfort. And God has been holding your hand, waiting patiently for the day your heart would feel safe enough to trust again. Type yes to affirm that your heart is open to healing and new beginnings. Jesus understands grief better than anyone. He stood at the tomb of a friend. He wept. He knows that even with faith, loss still hurts. That's why He doesn't ask you to rush your healing or hide your pain. He simply asks you to give it to Him, piece by piece, and let Him carry it. You don't have to be strong for everyone. You don't have to hide behind distractions or busyness. You can be real with him. You can let him into the deepest parts of your sorrow, and he will never turn away. The person you miss so much wants you to know that they are not far. Not in spirit. Not in love. They still walk with you in ways that cannot be explained but are deeply felt. Sometimes in the way the sun hits the floor just right, or in a song that seems to play exactly when you needed it, or in the sudden feeling of warmth that makes no sense. That's them. And more than anything, they want your heart to rest. They want you to know it's okay to laugh again, to plan again, to dream again. What if 7 minutes could rewrite your financial future forever? This hidden frequency, backed by neuroscience, flips the brain's natural wealth switch, unleashing unstoppable prosperity. People are calling it the money magnet sound, and it's already transforming lives. But hesitation means missing out while others move ahead. This is your moment to act. Click the link in the video description and comments below to awaken the wealth inside you today before the chance slips away. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. They are proof of love, the kind of love that death can't take away. You don't have to be ashamed of missing someone. You don't have to rush to move on. What God asks is not that you forget, but that you live in a way that honors the love you shared. That you let your life reflect the joy and hope they now experience in full. And that you trust He is leading you toward a future that still holds light, even if you can't see it yet. You may not feel ready, and that's okay. Healing isn't about forcing yourself forward. It's about slowly, gently allowing God to do what only He can, mend the wounds, soften the sorrow, and bring meaning even from the hurt. He doesn't waste anything. Not even the parts of your story you wish you could erase. In fact, it's often the very places of pain that become the spaces where His love shines the brightest. He wants to use your story to help others. He wants to turn your mourning into compassion, your sorrow into empathy, your journey into testimony. And He wants you to know that it's not over. That there are still beautiful days ahead. There are still people to love, still laughter to share, still mornings where you'll wake up with peace instead of ache. They are coming. Slowly, surely, and beautifully. Right now, God is gathering the broken pieces of your heart, not to put them back exactly as they were, but to create something new. A heart that feels more deeply. A spirit that sees more clearly. A life that understands what really matters. And your loved one? They're cheering for this. They're praying you say yes to what's next, not as a way to forget them, but as a way to carry their love forward in every act of grace, every moment of courage, every quiet kindness you offer to the world. Type 2323 if you agree that heaven watches over the ones we love. It doesn't matter how long it's been since they passed. Time doesn't exist in heaven the way it does here. There is no distance between their love and your heart. That's why some days, out of nowhere, you feel them. Maybe it's in the breeze that brushes your cheek when you're alone, or the way a certain song brings tears you didn't expect, or in a peaceful moment that settles over you without reason. That's not a coincidence. That's love reaching from heaven to earth. That's their soul reminding yours that you are not alone. They see how brave you've been. They see the nights you've cried quietly into your pillow, afraid to let anyone else see the sadness you carry. They see the way you keep showing up for others, even when your own strength feels like it's barely holding on. They're proud of you, not because you're perfect, but because you're still loving, still hoping, still walking forward even with the weight of grief pressing on your heart. That kind of quiet courage is more powerful than you think. It is seen by God. It is honored by heaven. You may feel like your prayers aren't being answered. Maybe you've cried out in the dark, asking why things had to happen this way. Maybe you've begged God to just send you a sign that your loved one is okay, that you're going to make it through. Sometimes the silence feels unbearable. But silence is not the absence of God. It is the space where your faith is being strengthened, where trust is built, and where healing begins, even when it doesn't feel like it. Jesus knows this pain. He felt it when he stood outside the tomb of a friend. He wept, not because he doubted the resurrection, but because he understood how it feels to lose someone you love. He never asks you to pretend you're okay. He invites you to come to him just as you are, with your questions, your doubts, your pain. He doesn't turn away from your brokenness. He sits with it. He enters it. And slowly, gently, he begins to heal what feels shattered beyond repair. Type Amen if you believe Jesus walks with you even through the pain. There are moments when your grief will feel fresh again, even if years have passed. A smell, a laugh, a holiday, a quiet moment, suddenly, the ache returns like it never left. Don't fight those moments. Let them come. Let the tears fall. Let your soul remember. Because in remembering, there is also love. And love is never something to be ashamed of. It's not weakness to grieve, it's proof that your heart still works, that it still cares, and that the bond you shared was real and deep and lasting. You don't have to move on in the way the world expects. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to keep living, not because you've stopped missing them, but because you're carrying their love with you into everything you do. That's what they want for you. Not to stay stuck in sorrow, but to rise, slowly and gently, into a life that still holds purpose. You are still needed. You are still loved. And there are still beautiful days ahead, even if it's hard to believe that right now. There are people around you who need the kind of love and strength you carry. Your story, your heart, your journey, it matters. What you've survived can become the reason someone else holds on. And in loving others, you'll find your heart begins to heal in ways you didn't expect. That's the quiet work of God. He restores not by erasing pain, but by transforming it into something that brings life and light to others. It's okay to rest. You've been strong for so long. You've carried so much. But God is not asking you to carry it all alone. He's asking you to place it in His hands. To stop trying to fix everything on your own. To breathe. To trust that He knows what you don't, sees what you can't, and loves you more deeply than you've ever imagined. He isn't disappointed in you. He isn't angry with your sadness. He wants to walk with you through it, to show you that even in the valley, you are never abandoned. The truth is simple, you were created for abundance, yet a dormant brain signal has been holding you back. Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it pulls wealth into your life like never before. Others who pressed play once are already transformed, living the life they dreamed of. Do not hesitate or let regret steal this chance. Click the link in the video description and comments below to unlock your prosperity now. Your loved one has seen the glory of God. They have felt the peace that surpasses all understanding. They now know that everything will be okay, not just for them, but for you. They see the whole picture, not just the broken pieces. That's why they are urging you now to keep going, to trust a little more, to open your heart to the healing that Jesus is offering you even now as you read this. They're not asking you to forget. They're asking you to live. Heaven is real. Love never ends. And you, even with your questions, your grief, your imperfections, you are held. You are cherished. You are being led toward something new. One day, all the pain will make sense. One day, every tear will be wiped away. But until then, hold on. Keep praying. Keep believing. You are closer than you think to a breakthrough. The next chapter of your life will not be written by sorrow but by the hand of a loving God who brings beauty from ashes and turns mourning into dancing. Type 222 if you feel God guiding your heart right now. There is a sacred connection between souls who have loved one another deeply, and that connection does not sever with the final breath. It transforms, it lifts, it becomes purer and gentler, but it does not fade. The one you miss so much is not resting in silence, they are resting in love, and that love still flows to you like a warm river that touches your spirit when you least expect it. You may have felt moments of peace that made no sense, or sudden comfort that arrived on a day that felt too heavy to bear, or a quiet sense of being watched over when you were feeling lost. Those moments were not your imagination. They were reminders. Soft, heaven-sent reminders that you are still connected, still cherished, still surrounded by the love of God and the affection of the one who waits for you in eternity. There is so much God wants to heal within you, not because you are broken beyond repair, but because He loves you too much to let your heart carry burdens that were never meant to define you. The grief you feel is real, and God understands it more deeply than any human ever could. He knows that loss reshapes the soul, that it creates spaces where silence can feel heavy and memories can feel sharp. But He also knows that love is stronger than loss, and He longs to help you see that the story of you and your loved one did not end, it simply changed form. The love you shared became eternal the moment God called them home. Your tears are not unnoticed. The angels see them, and they do not look at you with pity but with admiration, because tears that come from love are precious to heaven. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of how deeply your heart can feel, and that capacity for love is one of the most beautiful gifts God placed inside you. You may not realize it, but you honor the memory of your loved one every time you show kindness, every time you choose hope, every time you continue moving forward even when your heart feels heavy. These small acts of courage are seen in heaven, and they shine brighter than you know. Your loved one wants you to know that nothing you did or didn't do changed how deeply they loved you. They don't hold regrets, they hold gratitude. They remember the way you cared for them, the way you spoke to them, the way you tried, even in moments when you weren't sure how to. They remember your laughter, your softness, your presence. They remember your heart. And now, from a place where truth is clear, they want you to be free from guilt, free from the things you replay in your mind late at night. They want you to know that everything is forgiven, everything is understood, and everything is held in the hands of God with love that does not disappoint. Type 1111 if you trust that God is guiding your next steps with gentle care. Jesus walks beside you even in the moments when the world feels too quiet and your spirit feels too tired. He understands that grief comes in waves, that healing arrives slowly, that some days feel better and others feel unexpectedly heavy again. He never rushes you. He never tells you to be stronger or to get over it. Instead, He sits with you in the places where your heart trembles, and He offers comfort that is gentle and steady. His love is patient enough to wait for you to breathe easier, and kind enough to stay with you while you learn how to live with the ache. You may feel worn out from trying to hold everything together, but God sees the courage in every step you've taken. He knows that even when you felt like you were falling apart on the inside, you still kept going. You still kept loving. You still kept believing, even if your faith felt small or uncertain. And that perseverance is beautiful to Him. There are blessings being prepared for you that you cannot yet see. There are moments ahead filled with laughter that will surprise you, and days where peace will settle over you like a soft blanket. There are new beginnings waiting in the gentle hands of God, beginnings that will not erase what you've lost, but will help you grow around the love you carry. Healing does not mean forgetting, it means learning to live with love instead of pain, learning to breathe with gratitude instead of sorrow, learning to trust that God is still writing chapters filled with purpose. You are not falling behind. You are not failing at healing. You are not expected to be okay all the time. You are human, and your heart is tender, and that tenderness is something God treasures. You were created to feel deeply, to love fiercely, to carry compassion in your soul. Those qualities are not weaknesses, they are reflections of God's own heart within you. This 9-word phrase was once buried under government secrecy, but now it's resurfacing, sparking a global wave of prosperity stories. Experts reveal it reactivates a money magnet section of your brain most people never use. Say it once daily and watch financial blocks vanish. But this page could vanish too. Click the link in the description and comments before it's gone. The one you miss wants you to keep loving the world as they once loved you. They want you to laugh again without guilt, to dream again without fear, to trust again without hesitation. They want your days to be touched by light, even if the light arrives slowly. They want you to find beauty in the small things, strength in the quiet moments, and hope in the arms of God. Type 555 if you believe in God's timing and trust His purpose for your life. There is a reason you are still here. There is a reason your heart keeps beating, even through grief, through hardship, through seasons where the weight felt too much. You've carried more than most will ever know, and still, you've shown kindness, still, you've kept going, still, you've chosen love in the face of loss. Heaven sees this. God sees this. The one you miss so dearly sees this. And all of them are cheering you on, even now. You may think your life has gone unnoticed, that your quiet efforts to keep your faith alive in the middle of heartbreak are too small to matter. But nothing done in love is ever wasted. Every time you chose peace when you could have chosen anger, every time you held someone else while you were still hurting, every time you whispered a prayer even when you weren't sure God was listening, those moments were seen, treasured, and honored by the Creator of the universe. The one who left this earth before you, whose name still stirs something deep in your chest, is with Jesus now. And they are whole. They are not in pain. They are not burdened by fear or sadness. They are surrounded by peace that cannot be broken, joy that cannot be stolen, and love that never ends. And even in that place of divine perfection, their soul still longs for your healing. They don't want your life to be covered in sorrow. They don't want you to forget how to laugh, or how to love, or how to live. Jesus is standing near you right now. He sees how hard this season has been. He knows the thoughts you haven't shared with anyone. He knows how you smile to make others feel okay even when you're not. He knows the nights you've spent staring at the ceiling, the mornings you woke up with tears in your eyes, the days you've pushed through when your heart was running on empty. He hasn't turned his face from you, not once. In fact, he's closer than ever, reaching out in compassion, not to fix you, but to walk with you through this valley until joy begins to rise again. Type 2020 to claim miracles God is preparing for your life. Miracles don't always arrive in sudden bursts of glory. Sometimes they come slowly, like the sunrise after a long night. Sometimes they come in the form of peace that settles into your chest without explanation, or a phone call from a friend just when you needed someone to care. Sometimes they come through strength you didn't know you had until the moment required it. And all of that, every quiet, gentle miracle, is the work of a loving God who refuses to let you walk through life alone. The person you love is not gone in spirit. They have become part of the song of heaven, and part of that song now hums around you every day. When you see the light flicker in a moment of stillness, or when your heart feels stirred for no reason, or when you remember them and smile instead of cry, know that it is their love still moving through your life. God allows that love to continue because He never ends what He creates in love. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to understand why this happened or what's coming next. What God asks of you is trust. Not blind, forced trust, but the kind that grows slowly over time, like roots deepening under the soil where no one can see. Trust that He is weaving something beautiful out of everything you've walked through. Trust that what the enemy meant to break you is being transformed into a testimony that will one day help someone else rise. Your story is not finished. This chapter of grief is not your whole life. There is more for you. There is laughter that won't feel guilty. There are friendships that will feel like home. There are sunrises that will remind you to hope again. And there is a version of you that is healing, even if you don't feel it yet. God isn't in a hurry with you. He isn't pushing you. He's simply staying close, every step of the way, waiting for the moment when your heart can breathe again. You don't have to get back to normal. You're not going backward. You're moving into a new season, a new way of carrying both the love and the loss, and learning how they can live side by side. It's okay if joy and sorrow walk together in your heart. God understands that. Your loved one understands that. And neither of them expects you to have it all figured out. Amen.